I've learned somebody's a little bit younger that they know more than you because they probably don't when it comes to AI. AI is a tool. Don't be afraid of it.
I think AI is ushering this new Renaissance era in. I feel like I say that almost every episode, but I see it. You have to speak to the LLM like a 9-year-old because it's like,
Yeah.
okay, did you wash your hands? Does your hand smell like soap? Hey everyone, welcome back to AI with Bri, the podcast where we explore how to learn, leverage, and lead with AI. I'm your host, Brian Denstad, technologist, strategist, and someone who's endlessly curious about how AI is transforming the way we work, the way we think, and the way we create. Today's guest is someone who truly bridges the gap between vision and execution. I'm thrilled to welcome Rebl Risty to the show. She's a seasoned technology leader who knows how to turn big ideas into real-world systems that drive innovation and growth. Rebl's background spans software engineering, data-driven product development, and leading high-performing tech teams. She's passionate about helping organizations use AI not just as a tool, but as a genuine engine for value and transformation. So if you've ever wondered what it takes to turn strategy into scalable impact, this conversation's for you. Listen in. Welcome to the show, Rebl.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Thanks for having me.
Greatly appreciate you being here. I mean, let's kick things off with the Learn segment. Rebl, what's a recent lesson you've really learned about AI, technology adoption, or leadership that's really changed your approach?
Well, I've learned don't take for granted that if somebody's a little bit younger, that they know more than you because they probably don't when it comes to AI. I really believe we're all kind of in the same level. Yes, there's some people that are really, advancing it, but because it's changing so much every day, I feel like we're all in the same level of learning and curiosity. So I've taught a few workshops now, and the one thing I've learned, it doesn't seem to matter what age group you're in. Everyone's trying to figure it out.
Yeah, that's so true. Like, there's some young kids I know that really, really crush it on AI, but then they just don't have like my 30 years of experience to see the evolution that they've gone through. So there's just, like that it's still ones and zeros behind the scenes. That's awesome. Do you have some favorite tools that you've been learning about or leading with that are really standing out right now? It's changing so fast. So I'm just curious.
Yes, yes. Our one of our favorite tools right now is Lovable.
Hmm.
If you haven't tried that, it's their no code coding platform, and so we've been having fun with that. We've actually built out some couple of lead magnets for clients that are like quiz formula, but then they take the client through a process and actually then provide them recommendations and next steps and things like that to really engage the visitor to their website. We've been playing with building out landing pages, and then we're working on maybe some potential apps. Some for our clients, and then I'm actually working on a personal one for myself
Yeah.
that is geared towards the elderly because of an experience that I had with my dad who passed away 9 years ago.
Hmm.
So I love this tool because it's giving me the ability to do something I honestly never thought I could.
Yeah. And it's so amazing. Like I think AI is ushering this new Renaissance era and I feel like I say that almost every episode, but I see it because I just interviewed somebody earlier today and they said they vibe coded the whole thing and deployed their app and they had no clue how to do it, but they did it and they went through it. And like there's another example. I think Lovable is awesome for those quick marketing, landing pages, all that kind of stuff. And it gets it so much more customized than some of the other tools. So that's
Yeah,
awesome.
it really does. And it's, I was talking about my kind of personal app that I'm building. I've had this idea for years, and I honestly just kind of pushed it to the side because I'm like, I can't afford a software engineer to build this thing. I'm never going to be able to build it.
Yeah.
But now I might actually be able to do it.
I know I have been vibe coding with my daughter to build out a little game that she's got an idea on. It's just so cool to
Oh,
just take a few minutes and geek out with her on that, and we're coming together on it. So it's amazing.
oh,
I,
that's great.
I'm curious, like for somebody in an organization that's just starting out with AI, like what would you tell them to learn first or focus on first?
Obviously, well, obviously, I shouldn't say that. I recommend using at least one of the large language models like Chat, Claude, or Gemini, and just to go in and talk to it.
Hmm.
I loved showing people just the talk mode where you can actually have a conversation with it, and people are just blown away. And I think that makes it so much easier, right?
Hmm.
You don't have to type and try to think about something, just have a conversation. Like, where should I go on my trip to Italy? Or I'm trying to think of someone just did something like, oh, put together my grocery list for the week,
Yeah.
help me make this thing. And I think if you just start using it on those very simple day-to-day personal things, then you can feel more comfortable using them in your professional career, whether you need to write an email or create a LinkedIn newsletter. So I like to tell people just to start there, and it seems that's the easiest, because if you can just talk to something, it feels a little more natural.
Hmm. Hmm. I've opened it up at the dinner table just to spark some conversation, and we get laughing when we interrupt it and it says something silly. Like, it's just such a great way. That's a great starting point for sure. Um,
Yeah, 100%.
are there is there any common pitfalls that you see when they say that we're going to adopt AI, but they don't have the right technology or people? Like, how do you see it playing out with some of your clients or companies?
Yeah, I think what we see the most is they expect, like, chat, for example, to do all the things all at once.
Hmm.
A human can't do it, and AI can't either. So what we try to really train our clients, if they want to get started with something simple, is be very focused. Like,
Hmm.
what exactly do you want your chat to do? And I think of common ones like, well, I wanted to write my newsletter. Great. But then they're like, but then I also wanted to create images, and then I wanted to turn it into social media posts, and then I wanted to, right? So it just kind of snowballs. And so what we try to train our clients on, or when I do workshops, is be very specific. So I want, you've heard of the RAPL method, like role, approach, product, what do you want it to produce? So, like, what's its role?
Hmm.
I want you to be a leading newsletter writer for manufacturing companies in aerospace. Like, I try to explain to my clients, you have to be that specific
Yeah.
to really get it to hone in. And your job is to write weekly newsletters, blah, 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 and produce da, 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 right? XYZ.
Yeah.
And that seems to first open that first light bulb, like, oh, okay, I can't ask it to do everything.
Yeah.
I need to ask it, be very specific. And then the second thing is, actually, I was just talking with a client yesterday. They're in the benefits insurance area, and he's like, I helped him build his custom GPT, and then they've moved everything into Copilot, for more security. And he said, Reb, I've been asking it to, like, diagnose these spreadsheets and then run a report, blah, blah, blah. But it keeps hallucinating. And I said to him, Leonard, what was the first thing we talked about
Yeah.
in our workshop?
Yeah.
You have to be more specific. And so where we're actually taking him is the next level is he's got his custom Copilot now, but he has to take that, and we're going to build then a worksheet review GPT, and then we're going to build one that takes it and writes the report, and then we're going to build another one that finalizes it and sends it out.
Yeah.
So what we're doing now is actually taking his process that he does manually, building out custom GPTs that fit each point in that process, and then we're going to tie them together on a platform like Make or N8N.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a critical point, right? Because the idea that success is all about the tools that you're bringing to the table is wrong, right? It's this alignment and this process definition that we take for granted as a human, but like when you have to get
Yeah.
the AI to do it, it's like a completely different game. I call it. I have a 9-year old, and I call it the 9-year old. You have to speak to the LM like a 9-year old, because it's like,
Yeah.
okay, did you wash your hands? Did you sing your ABCs? Did I hear the water on? Does your hands smell like soap? Like all these checks that you have to do with the AI to make sure it's going to get you exactly what you want, or else they'll come back with something half baked. So it's so
It
funny.
is. And, and it's hard for us because as humans, business owners, entrepreneurs, high level executives, we just kind of run and we know how to do it, right?
Hmm.
And it's like when you're driving home,
Yeah,
you just kind of drive home and you forget. Like
that's
you
right.
have to explain to somebody, you got to make a left on this street and a right there, and you go past that tree and da da da. So it's the same, yeah, approach. You have to count every little step.
That's right. I love it. Well, as we move into the leverage segment, you're helping teams build these real products that integrate data and are applying AI in meaningful ways. What are some of the real world examples where you've worked on AI and moved it from like pilot to production and delivered a really tangible, measurable value?
Yeah. Well, one of our fun, and we like to call our AI team members. So our team members vary in range. So one of our simplest team members just does LinkedIn posting, for example.
Hmm.
So we actually have another agency we built this out for. He has multiple clients, and his VA has been manually having to create content for each client, and then write and then create an image and post it. So we created a whole automation based on her process,
Mm.
and we're leveraging industry articles and publications, digital news, and we're pulling that into a spreadsheet. And then through her process, we write the copy. She goes in and checks it, and then it creates the image. And then it actually then sends an email to the client saying, hey, your content is ready for review. Please review it. And then they go into the spreadsheet and check it. If they approve it, it automatically gets scheduled to get published. If they want more edits, then it goes back to her. And then there is a human piece, right?
Hmm.
So the AI gets it about 85% of the way there. So we still have to have that human. And Chloe's super grateful because she doesn't have to spend hours creating it.
Yeah,
Now she's just in creativity, approval, fixing mode. And the client doesn't have any clue there's any difference on the back end,
that's right.
for them. So, and then now they're saving a ton of time. So that's a great example. Another one of our newer team members is actually a sales development rep.
Mm.
And this thing is crazy. And some people find it a little eerie, but we have a way to, through AI, this SDR team member can go out, call everybody on your list, text them and email them.
Hmm.
And it depends on the strategy if you're going to do all three or one or the other. But the calling is the coolest,
That's right.
I personally think. It will call. We can clone your voice if you want. And we use 11 Labs for that.
Hmm.
Clone your voice, and it will go out and call people. And we're very transparent, and we let people know that it is an AI avatar,
Yeah.
AI team member, and people are just fascinated. And we find the conversations actually last a little longer because that potential customer wants to just talk to it.
Yeah.
They're just fascinated, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure this is a short window, but right now we're getting pretty good conversion because it's the AI is able to answer questions, take objections,
Hmm.
and engage that. And it actually will do things like we can clone it to be like if you say, oh yeah, cool, or oh 100%, it says that, and it says it in such a human natural tone.
Hmm.
It's just fascinating. So, and then it'll book the schedule to get you to a real person, a real
Yeah.
salesperson, then who will take the call or take the prospective client from there. So
Yeah.
it's been really fun seeing how these team members, our AI team members, develop.
Yeah, it's so true. Like if people haven't heard one of these AI voice chats yet, like it is so fascinating because they even put in the little snickers and laughs now. I mean, they're going to
I
be
know.
indistinguishable from humans in another 6 months, I think. So
Yeah,
it's really amazing.
probably.
And it is there, you've built so many of these, it sounds like by now. Was there anything where you took on a challenge like that and saw an outcome that like surprised you, or was something different than what you were expecting?
Yeah, I mean, it's not perfect.
Hmm.
So I some of the the hardest thing probably with doing the LinkedIn posting team member it just had the hardest time getting the client's logo.
Mm,
Even though we had uploaded the logo, told it to use the
yeah.
logo, it would sometimes just create its own logo.
Yeah.
And we just, yeah, I had to keep whittling and whittling and whittling on that. And sometimes it still will, for whatever reason, decide it wants to create its own logo.
Yeah.
So,
It's
um,
it's that, and I see that all the time on certain things. Something that you think it's gonna nail and really knock out of the park, and you're like, man, it missed, and it misses, and it misses, and it misses. And then there's other times when I've
yeah,
done it, and I'm like, wow, that probably would have taken me 8 hours, and it just nailed it for me in 15 minutes. And it's like
yeah.
it blew my mind. Like, wow, that's amazing.
It's just always for now anyways. I don't know if we'll ever, at least I don't know, I'll be alive in the time where AI can actually function on its own, but
Mhm.
it definitely needs a human
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
process.
Well, I certainly hope for humanity's sake that the AI and us have to lock arms and be best of friends as we go. And interesting to see, like, because there's so many, when you really start to think about it, there's so many ways that you can take AI and use it, and it's almost
Hmm.
overwhelming. Like, which one do I do first?
Yeah.
How do you ensure that they don't just stay in that nice to have category, but really become like this core piece of how your company operates?
I think it goes back to what you brought up. It's about process.
Hmm.
So now what we do with clients when I am putting together a strategy for a client, we are integrating AI into that strategy
Mm.
and we are building out some of these systems into that strategy as well. So it's not like, hey, you should go use this, but we're saying, okay, here's your strategy, here's the calendar, and here's the tools, right? AI is a tool. This is the tool, like your CRM.
Hmm.
Like if you were building out, HubSpot or Go High Level or Salesforce, you'd be like, okay, now this section, this month we're building out this AI system and we're going to start using it. And it's a learning curve. Not everybody's overjoyed about
Yeah.
it, but it's just any tool you have to implement it and get people to start using it.
But yeah, I mean, that really, really hits home because you look at all these different examples that we've gotten to see in our career, like Microsoft Excel or the internet. I mean, these are enablers of our capability, really, that
Hmm.
it's not just an automation, it's not just AI, it's using it to sharpen strategy, and it's not about shrinking costs. Is like that. I think that's a really important takeaway you mentioned.
Yeah, yeah. And there is a learning curve. Like I remember implementing Salesforce for a client. Oh my gosh, people were,
Yeah.
kicking and screaming on that. And so you're going to have that audience and
Hmm.
it's just going to have to be part of your strategy.
That's right. That's right. Well, let's talk about leadership. I mean, AI is advancing so quickly, and leaders are being asked to embrace it, guide their teams. It's disrupting everything. From your point of view, like, what does effective leadership in this AI era really look like?
I've always believed you lead by example. So leaders have to be learning these tools. Does it mean that you need to be vibe coding and in them every day? Probably not, but you should at least be familiar and know enough about them to be able to show your team, understand how they're using it. I think that's probably a big piece of that
Hmm.
is you're going to have your high users, your technology forward team members, and then those that are not. And so it's your job to bring them together and make sure that what is that? All what is the tides? All tides
Yeah,
rises
yeah,
all
yeah.
boats, or
Hmm.
yeah, so that it's really a team effort. And again, we just remember AI is a tool. Don't be afraid of it. I caution though people to not put your head in the sand.
Yeah.
It's really something that's coming. And then, one of the things that I've talked to a lot of other fellow business owners and leaders is security. And then, oh, how did Scott put it? The phantom users, because
Hmm.
you're going to have team members that are using it at home.
Yeah.
So if you're not educating yourself and understanding how people are really using it, you could get a surprise, bad or good,
Hmm.
down the road. So just being fully aware of the potential opportunities and pitfalls.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it drives back to like as leadership changes happen, like what leadership qualities are the most important to look for when you're hiring this next leader? Is there something that's got this like AI forward mindset in your mind that you should be looking for?
Yeah, for me, because it's still so new and you can't really get a certification in AI,
Yeah.
I think what I look for, anyways, when I talk to potential new team members or even working with clients, is like, where is their curiosity level?
Mm,
Are they using it? Have they tried it? Are they willing to try it? Because like any tool, you can learn it, but I think I don't want to fight with somebody who
mm.
doesn't want to learn it or a client that just isn't interested in
Right, right.
it. If they're curious though and they want to figure out how to implement it and use it, that's the type of person I'm looking for.
Do you have an Yeah, I agree with you completely. Do you have an example of a couple of people that you walked in and they're like, no, 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 and then you show them one or two things, and it's like you can see their mind being blown, and like they shift their mindset, and they're just like, wow, now I'm the champion. Thank you, Rebel, for unlocking this for me.
Yeah, it's funny, kind of almost going back to that very first question about what surprises me is I did a workshop for a group of 35 commercial brokers. I
Hmm.
was brought in to do a workshop on building out your custom GPT that sounds like you. And this room was mostly young men, late 20s, maybe early 30s. And I was surprised. The majority of them had kind of used it, not really. A couple of them had never even had an account. So
Mm.
they had to sign up
Oh
on the
wow.
spot, even though they were told to do this earlier. And I think, it was just realization for them like, hey, it's not that crazy, it's not going to take your job. And what the purpose that I was brought in is to help them realize that they could use it to actually help them do better sales and marketing.
Oh wow.
So we
Yeah.
did we did the custom GPTs, I did the basics, but by the time we were done with the workshop, there were guys like, hey, I'm going to use this to write my monthly newsletter now and do
Hmm.
market reports and review my leases and help me, write better emails to my clients. So it was really nice to see how they it opened their eyes. And then I did a follow-up workshop and some of them had already gone even further. They
Yeah.
were automating things. So that was really cool. And I love that I could teach some young guys some new tricks.
I love it. No, I mean, that's inspiring, right? I mean, leadership is really not like dictating the tech, but like you enabled these people, you enabled their process, and they're converging now. I mean, that's powerful insight, right?
Yeah, yeah. That was really fun.
Yeah, that's all. Well, Rebel, tell us a little bit more about Rebel marketing and what you're up to and how you help clients, and break it down for us.
Oh my gosh. Well, I've had Rebel Marketing for 16 years and we have gone through a lot of different phases,
Hmm.
just evolving and learning. And I think earlier we talked about crying and laughing
That's
and
right. As any
all
good
the
business
things.
owner goes through it, right?
Yeah, yeah. And a couple of years ago, I finally said, okay, we're going to invest in our own marketing. We were on HubSpot for many years, and I did make the decision to move over to Go High Level for a
Hmm.
number of reasons. And the agency owner that I hired to onboard us was really into AI, and he kept talking about this and that. And he said, you should join my mastermind. I'm like, okay, I'll join. And I was the kid, like, eyes open. What? You can do that? And this was like a couple of years ago.
Hmm.
So it's advanced so much. And at that point, I realized, this is the direction that this agency is going to go in. And so this year we launched Rebel Labs AI, which is our AI forward arm of Rebel Marketing. And we've started producing our AI team members, everything from marketing content, sales, to receptionists, things like that. And it's just, I don't know, I'm just loving it. And honestly, I feel like AI for me is kind of given me a new burst of energy and
Hmm.
excitement for the marketing world and business. And I love it.
I love it. Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I think many businesses over the next few years are going to have to go through a rebirth of some sort as they figure out, how do I embrace AI? I mean, the ones that aren't are going to be replaced by the AI forward companies, I think. So it's so great to
Yes.
see you have already gone through that transition in a big way and are helping others. It's so inspiring. So,
Yeah, well, thank you, thank you. And I really hope that we can help other small businesses because as a small business myself, it's hard to scale.
mhm.
Adding people headcount is it's it's chicken and the egg. So with AI, I feel like small businesses could really have an advantage now to
Mhm.
do things that they wouldn't have resources to do.
Yeah, I agree completely. I mean, I think a one-man band can now compete against the Salesforce of
Oh
the
yeah.
world, if you've got the right AI team members with you, for sure.
Yep.
So, how do people get in touch, Rebel? Break it down on the websites. I think you mentioned a couple of them, but hit us one more time with them.
Yeah, yeah. So Rebel Labs, REBL labs.ai is our website, and you'll find out about our team members and all of us there. Another great spot, you can come visit me on LinkedIn. I'm actually Rebecca Rebl Risty. Rebecca's my full name. And yeah, call us too. You can always call 858-848-7325. I don't guarantee you'll get to talk to me, but you probably will get to talk to one of our AI team members. And
And if you haven't done
uh,
it, it's such a good experience to see how they interact, and hopefully they'll convince whoever's calling to book that appointment with you and learn more. Right?
yes, I hope so, if they're doing a good job.
That's right. I love it. Rebel, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. I enjoyed your perspective so much on what it takes like to move from this AI curiosity to like real impact that I can see you're obviously bringing some of your customers. So, um, to everybody listening, if this conversation sparks some ideas for you, be sure to follow AI with Bri. Please leave us a review or share this with somebody who's navigating this fast changing world of AI or just wants to get in touch with Rebel and learn more. So, as Rebecca Rebel stated, you can learn more about her work in her LinkedIn profile and at rebellabs.ai. So, thanks again, Rebel, for being here.
Yeah, thanks, Brian.
I'm Brian Denstead. Thanks for joining me, everyone. I'll see you next time. And remember, the future doesn't wait. Learn, leverage, and lead. This episode of AI with Bri was hosted and produced by me, Brian Denstead. Produced with help from Nancy Velasquez and Kelly Lopez. Video by Leo Moralina. Sound AI generated. Find us on all platforms at AI with Bri and visit ai.bri.net for more. Learn, leverage, lead.